Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, it is Wednesday. We are 2 days out from weigh-ins. Woke up today around 213.5 pounds. Started the weight cut at 215. I actually got up to 219, 220 at some point, just because of retaining so much water. And at this point, it's starting to come down, which is right in line with what we want to see. So, we're going to kind of go over a little bit in depth of what the... Can you chill out? We're going to kind of go over a little bit more in depth of like what our weight cut's looking like. So, what we've done so far, basically with a water load, water cut, there's 3 things you have to worry about. It's going to be your fluids, your sodium, and your carbs. Basically, we'll start with the fluids. So, like we said in the last few videos, I start my water load about 12 days out. In a typical day, I will drink about 3/4 of a gallon. And at 12 days out, I'll start bringing one of these guys, a gallon jug, with me to work and just drink one of these full throughout the day. Plus, on top of that, any other fluids I drink. So it usually comes out to about 1.25 gallons. And do that 12 days out up until Sunday. At which point I will do 1.5 gallons, a little bit more maybe, like 1 3/4, somewhere in between there. Do that Sunday, Monday. That's 5 days out. And this is all assuming a 24-hour weigh-in with a Friday weigh-in. So if this is a protocol you want to try out, I would adjust the days to fit whatever schedule you're on. So Sunday, Monday, 1.5 gallons, and then Tuesday and Wednesday today, we're doing 2 gallons. And then tomorrow, we will basically do as little fluids as we can. Maybe just a little bit, just every time we pee, just kind of keep flushing stuff out. Might do like some carbs or some type of caffeine, like a sugar-free Red Bull or something like that, just to get caffeine as a diuretic, helps keep you peeing. So. And then also today, we're trying to get the 2 gallons in as early as possible, because basically from like tonight through Friday morning is when we want to be dropping as much weight as we can. Next we have sodium. Sodium's basically the same thing, but you just cut it a little bit earlier. Really only need to be loading it for like 3 days or so. So Sunday, I would up how much sodium you're taking in by about like 1.5, and then Monday and Tuesday I would double what your normal sodium is. This is just getting your body with the thought that like, hey, we're bringing in extra sodium, we have to get rid of extra sodium. And when that happens, then when you cut it out, you keep flushing it out and you'll drop a ton of water. Carbs, same thing. Well, carbs you don't really have to load. So basically, for every gram of glycogen that your body has, you also have 3 grams of water. So we want to get rid of that. So all you have to do for that is just cut back on your carbs. I would go down to maybe like 75% on Sunday, 50% on Monday and Tuesday, and then like 25% today. And tomorrow I'm going to do basically as little carbs as I can. Maybe like So, be taking off later today, about 3, which always, when we land around 1 a.m. in Virginia, which always sucks flying from West Coast to East Coast. You know, lose a few hours, but it's not terrible. We have a couple days to recover from it. And then, looking forward, tomorrow, first thing, we're probably going to go check our weight on the meat scale. This is just something I recommend. Make sure that, and also bring your scale if you're bringing one. This is just to make sure that you know what kind of difference your scale has versus another. I've known many lifters who have gone to meet, weighed in, and they say they were good on their scale, but end up being like 2 pounds over at the meet, and then you either have to try and lose 2 pounds and you're stressed, or move up a weight class and then you're kind of at a disadvantage. But yeah, so after that we'll probably run Target, get snacks, food, whatever else we need, and then sauna the rest of the day. So I gotta go pee, so we'll see you in a bit. So what's going on, guys? As you can see, we are back in California. Unfortunately, we didn't get too much footage between the flight and the meet. Obviously, we got footage from the meet, which you'll see in the next video. But for now, I'll just kind of break down what we did for the weight cut and the recomp. So as you can know, we took off Wednesday. Did 2.5 gallons that day. I was weighing about 215 when we took off. We didn't land until about 3:30 a.m. in Manassas, which kind of sucked, but our flights got delayed because of like a crazy thunderstorm in Colorado, which was actually really cool to see from the flight, but it just made for a long travel day. And unfortunately, I retained a lot of water on that flight, so I landed about 214 pounds, and the next morning woke up around 212, and at that point started spinning a lot. Like I said earlier, once we woke up, we took our scale to the meet venue and compared it to the meet scale, and at the time we saw that our scale was actually half a pound or half a kilo heavy, which meant that we didn't have to lose quite as much weight as we thought, which was super nice. After that, we went to Target and got a bunch of snacks, fluids, basically like Pedialyte, Uncrustables, a lot of chips, instant rice, yogurt, oatmeal, bananas, a lot of like carbs, sodium, and fluids was basically what our shopping list consisted of. Then we went to Gold's Gym. As you saw our workout, we did a super light SBD day, basically like 40-50% on each lift. we keep it pretty simple. Just do like 315 on squat, 225, 315 on bench, and then 405 on deadlift for a 3 sets of 3. This is just something that I use in my own training. It's also in the advanced program of the Proven Strength app. It's just something I've added into my training the past couple of years that seems to really help when I do like a super light SBD day like this, 24, 48 hours out from a meet or a heavy workout. I feel that my heavier day just goes much better. Seems like I'm more efficient in the movements and a lot more locked in. I think that SBD day just kind of like kickstarts those neural pathways to perform a little bit better. But anyways, so that's something that I would recommend maybe trying out in your own training. It's not going to work for everyone, but it's worth giving a shot. See if it benefits you at all. It's not really going to hurt you at all to do because it's so light of intensity. It shouldn't really cause any damage or anything like that to the muscles, and it's very recoverable. But anyways, so after that, we went to the sauna. By that point, after like spitting and just like continuing to flush out and peeing a lot of the water out, I was staying around 209.6 on my scale. So that meant I had to lose about 10 pounds in the sauna. Andy was basically right on, so he really didn't need a sauna at all, but he chose to do, I think, 3 or 4 sessions, and that was just so that he could get low enough to where he could like eat a pretty good amount of food. Basically, the idea behind that is that water is a lot easier to put on than like glycogen and sodium. So to be able to kind of drop the water level down so you can fuel up on those other two is usually gonna be a net positive. And also you just sleep better with like a full stomach. So unfortunately, I did not have that luxury. I had about 10 pounds to lose, and the sauna got up to about 155 degrees, which isn't the hottest, but actually worked out well because I felt like I could stay in there pretty comfortably for about 20 minutes at a time. And then it only took about 15 minutes or so in between sessions to just kind of like recover. I feel like what I did this prep that worked out very well was, it was summer and it's a lot hotter. So I'm just kind of used to being in a hotter environment. As well as like my job, I work in industrial plants that get very hot. So my body became very used to dealing with hotter temperatures, and Andy also has his own sauna at home, which I started using a couple times a week. And between those two things, my body just got very efficient at dealing with being hot and being a little bit more efficient with sweating. In the 20 minutes in the sauna, I was able to lose on average about a pound per session. Ended up doing, I think, 10 total sessions at that point. Was able to get down to, on my scale, about 199.9, or about, flirting between like 199.9, 200 pounds, which my thought process at that point was, all right, if I'm a half kilo over on the meat scale, then I'll only have about a pound to lose overnight, which should be pretty doable. We went back to the meat venue and checked on the scale again. Unfortunately, at that point, we realized that when we initially checked, my scale might not have been staying properly, and sometimes it doesn't sit right after moving, and they were actually lined up perfectly. So when we thought we had an extra half kilo to play around with, we did not have that. So I was a full kilo over at this point. And that's a little bit tougher to lose overnight than just a pound. I thought I could maybe spit it out, but at this point I had been spitting all day and I just had no saliva left. So ended up having to go back to the sauna at about 5 a.m. that morning. Did a couple more sessions. Was able to make weight, weighed in at 89.9 kilos, or 198.2 pounds. So went from sitting around 215 all the way down to 198.2 pounds within about 30 hours or so. From there, we started the recomp, which immediately was getting an IV. That's what a lot of untested lifters do. We drank a couple liters of a concoction of basically some really simple carbs like fructose and glucose, some electrolytes, and a little bit of caffeine, and some digestive enzymes. Then spent the rest of the day eating and drinking a lot of Pedialyte, Gatorade, fruit snacks, stuff like that, and had a few meals that consisted of Chipotle, which for me was just basic rice and steak with a little bit of teriyaki sauce. Meal number 2 was Panda Express, just orange chicken and rice. And meal number 3 for dinner, we do sushi, which is our go-to, like heavy lift meat day last meal. Again, a lot of carbs, a lot of sodium, then continued to eat and drink throughout the day. By the time I was competing, I was back up to 216. So within about 48-hour period or so, we went from 215 pounds down to 198.2 and then back up to 216. Definitely not healthy, but we do what we can to put the biggest total at the lowest weight possible. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions about the weight cut, you can let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, check out the Proven Strength app. You can find the programs that Andy and I run ourselves. We've got 19 total, 3, 4, 5-day beginner, intermediate, advanced, as well as power building block. And you get added to the private Discord where you can ask Andy and I form checks, questions, anything involving training. We also have a meme page on that one too. So check that out. Link is in the description. And we'll catch you in the next video where you'll see our actual meet performance. As I'm sure a lot of you have seen on Instagram, we both did pretty well, but kind of go a little bit. Always remember, don't suck.